Hello and welcome to another Geography Endeavour Plus video with me, Mr. Garrity. We're going to continue looking at what to expect from your exam. This will be the physical paper 1 with the coasts section. Again, this is a mostly content driven video with some practice questions thrown in. The idea is to give you a minimal kind of understanding of what you will be tested on to help focus your revision strategy. As a quick disclaimer before we begin the video, just listening to this video will not magically make your grades improve. This is a passive approach to revision and is not effective. It is only through actively practicing what is discussed and what is shown that your grades will improve. Make sure you clear your environment of distractions, turn off the music, turn off the video game, get out a pen and paper and actively practice what is discussed. It is also worth noting that anything you produce, you can always bring into school to get some feedback from any of the geography teachers in the geography department. So what is the examiner actually testing? They'll be testing your knowledge of geomorphic processes, all of them, from erosional, transportation, and deposition. You'll also be tested on your knowledge of landforms, both erosional and depositional. You'll be expected to know how they are formed and how they change over time. You will also be tested on the coastal management strategies in terms of hard engineering, which ones have been built, often at high expense, but for a very effective structure, and the soft engineering strategies, working with nature to often maintain the environmental appearance, but usually at a downside of a less effective strategy. So how will this knowledge be tested? To begin, they will often ask you to identify or state parts of this knowledge, often as a multiple choice question, or literally stating it from memory, often asking a what's the definition of this word, or here's the definition, what do you think the word is? They will also ask you to outline parts of your knowledge, which is why most of these questions are in reference to the geomorphic processes, where it's expected that you know each of the processes by name and by what they do, and therefore can outline what it is they do in the real world. However, sometimes these questions can also apply to certain landforms. Outline the features of a specific landform or even their characteristics or where you might find them. Opportunity to revise some of this knowledge. With whatever strategy works well for you, maybe revise the names and the definitions for the erosion, transportation and depositional processes. And then a couple of questions. Try outlining two of the erosion processes you've revised, and maybe identify and state two of the characteristics of this pictured landform. Pause the video to here to have a go. Hopefully, for the pictured landform, you've either identified and described the beach as a bay or the headland that is sticking out into the sea. So how else will they test your knowledge of coasts? They will also ask you a series of describe or explain questions, usually worth 4 or 6 marks. This can either be with the assistance or the interpretation of a given figure, whether it be a graph, a picture, or maybe a map or diagram. Or they may ask you to do it strictly from memory, often asking you to employ your own knowledge or expecting you to use your case study knowledge. This is usually for your landforms in combination with the geomorphic processes. It's very typical to ask for how a landform is formed based on the geomorphic processes that get it there. That is very typical. But you can always bank on a high question for management strategy, whether that be the costs and benefits of a strategy, how the strategy works, or one that you've researched. It is worth noting there is no 9 marker in this section. To conclude this video, here is another opportunity to put into practice what you've learned. I recommend you go and revise at least 2 erosional landforms and 2 depositional landforms that are at the coast, whether using a revision guide, mind map, or potential flashcards. As a potential exam question, have a go at explaining the formation of this specific landform, a wave-cut platform, just from memory. And finally, have a go at assessing the costs and benefits of both hard and soft engineering strategies. You may use the figures to help you. In fact, you must use the figure to help you for one of the strategy types, and then you will need to use your own knowledge for the other to achieve those 6 marks. Thank you for your time, and good luck with the revision.